Hi everyone, I'm really excited to share today's video with you. It's the first in my employer brand subject matter expert series. The first conversation I had was with Sofia Egudkina. She's an incredible employer brand expert and she's been in this industry for several years now, working globally, mostly in the tech sector. She and I had an amazing conversation over Zoom about internal talent mobility, creating internal talent marketplaces, inclusion and belonging, and employee listening first and foremost in the new world of work, and how all of that impacts employer brand strategy. I'm really excited for you to watch and hear what she has to say. So here's Sofia.
The world has gone through so many changes. There's so many different things that have happened, and it gave a lot of insight to, I feel like, everybody, including myself, as to what we want and what we don't want and what we're interested in. So I feel like that aspect of research and figuring out what you're looking for in your role goes hand in hand with that learning and development aspect. And if you want to battle or kind of even just keep your battle the great resignation, I want you to keep those really well-skilled employees. It's time to kind of ask them, what is it that they want? Maybe it's developing their skills, maybe it's internal mobility, and moving your employees maybe into a different role, and being a lot more proactive about it, not waiting for your employees to come to you and say, hey, I'm really interested in that role, which can be very difficult a lot of times for many people, especially women in workplace.
Oh my gosh, yes.
And then you have that inclusion and diversity aspect of it as well, where the easier you make it for people to come to you, or you're proactive about these things, then the more inclusive you're being. So yeah. I think that internal mobility and reskilling goes hand in hand with a lot of these, with being proactive.
Yeah, for sure. And I definitely think I love what you said about finding ways to embed inclusiveness into your talent strategy. I think that goes hand in hand with a lot of the new trends we're seeing. I mean, we're going to have to rethink and reimagine EVPs and recruitment strategies, and with an eye on kind of what's happening internally and the undiscovered talent that exists within your business. I mean, what a great opportunity to match talent to value and foster that sense of belonging. And like you said, like, get to know your employees on a deeper level and figure out what they want, right?
Mm-hmm. It won't be enough to have your annual employee engagement review anymore and ask the same questions we've been asking or being asked for years, just once a year. Employers will have to get really creative about getting to know their employees and coming up with creative ways to engage their employees as well, whether it's learning and development or growth opportunities, or even making those opportunities a lot more accessible to everybody.
So I want to end on a topic that I know is near and dear to your heart, which is kind of the positioning of the employer brand strategist in this kind of universe of different employee experience drivers, and how can, like, within the specific lens of understanding this new type of workforce and the new skills and the way we're going to need to market them, like with that lens, how do you think employer brand strategists or champions can act as the best possible advisors to their business partners and to talent acquisition?
That's interesting to kind of approach it from that perspective. I think as a partner, like, the way you just described it, how can you partner best is that you really truly work in partnership with various different parts of the organization. You're working with the people operations lead, and you're working with talent acquisition lead, and you're working with marketing leadership and creative services, or maybe all of those is one person in the company and you're working directly with them. But it's truly, I think, starts with approaching employer branding from a strategic point. I've seen too many times companies approach employer branding from just a pure recruitment marketing,
Reactive,
a very reactive approach. And there's always time and place for everything. And I think A lot of companies need that, but I think it's so much more, employer brand can be so much more powerful when you approach it from a strategic sense, when you start with, asking your employees, why do you want to work here?
Yeah.
Why did you come on board? If you were telling your family and friends about the company that you're working at, what would you tell them? How would you tell your closest friend and family about the place you're working at?
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, that's how you want your potential candidates to hear about you.
Yeah.
We all, I think, know that references, being referred to as an employer to potential candidates, makes the best candidates. And we're out of lights again. But it makes the best candidates, and there's been over and over in every organization. I think their goal is to increase their referral rate, and so that's how you want your potential candidates to hear about you, with that feeling of, I'm being told about this not by a recruiter, but by a peer or maybe somebody I look up to.
Hey, well, that's all I got. Thank you so much for chatting with me today, Sofia.
Thank you. And thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Cut. That was
Oh my
great.
God, these lights.
So good. That was.
Thanks so much for tuning in. I hope you found that valuable and informative. If you're interested in the subject matter and learning more, you can head over to driftemployerbrand.com. We just published a brand new white paper with 6 all-new predictions, 18 strategic thought starters, and cross-industry insight to inform your employer brand strategy going into the new year. Again, my name's Chelsea. I love to talk about this stuff. If you're ever interested in starting a conversation about your employer brand and your culture, don't hesitate to reach out. Thanks for watching.